Good evening everyone and welcome to TTL F2. We are here for Season 6, Round 10 as we take in the Circuit of the Americas from Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix. Good evening everyone, I am James Head. Lovely to be here tonight as always, and joining me in the commentary box, as you can see on the lobby screen, is one Aiden Carter. Aiden, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, apart from I'm out of breath because I've just run up the stairs to get the stream started and everything. Goodness me. Right, we are here tonight, of course, at Circuit of the Americas, and looking into what happened last week in Japan. Obviously, Spike took the win in the feature race, Venom second, Vic Mill third. Honey Badger won the sprint race, Vic Mill second and Venom third. But we have got a bit of news out of that, with Venom picking up a qualifying ban for tonight's race. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's pretty fair. I think based on the incident and then the accumulation of penalty points that he's had so far this season, I think it's fair. It's costly for him standings wise, but at the moment there's only 6 people here, so it doesn't look like it's actually going to affect him that much. So yeah, we'll see how it goes for him, but yeah, this is he needed to be as close to Siege and Honey as he possibly could, and unfortunately being out of qualifying has already put him on the back foot.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for the Scotsman to pick up an accumulation of penalty points, 30 penalty points in total that he did pick up as a result of last week's incidents in Japan. But I can still say that he is within the championship fight, and with 2 races here tonight for both the feature race and the sprint race, we should have a lot of good action out on track. Just to recap on then what happened, I've already said the results from last week's races. Honey Badger obviously taking the sprint race, and the feature race going to Spike. We've got a championship tie at the minute between Honey and Siege on 237 points. That's going to be interesting coming into tonight.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting. And like I said, Venom and Vic Mill still aren't far back. They're not out of it just yet. A good result for them. A repeat of what Vic Mill did in Singapore, and Venom keeping up his pace. They could still be in it by the time you get to the next event. So it's still a 4-way fight at the moment.
Yeah, I do believe, I'm just calculating it up, and I think we've got 80 points available for whoever takes all 4 wins from now until the end of the season. So 80 points available on the table, and I will run you through the drivers' standings now. Honey out on top with Siege on 237 points. Venom is in third, unfortunately got that qualifying ban. He's on 213 points. He should be right up there, I would think, in tonight's racing. Vic Mill, as you say, in fourth, is not out of it. 201 points. 36 points separating the top 4. You can pretty much, I think, count out the rest in terms of any battles. But we have got a good battle for 5th going on. Sean and Spike. 147 for Sean, 123 for Spike. They are in 5th and 6th. Mason 7th on 52. Conti in 8th on 47. ILRT Matter in 9th on 46. And Maximus in 10th on 31 points. We've got Ren Farah on 11th on 23. Then Charlie on 15 and 12th. With Casper in 13th on 14. Storm in 14th on 11. Mashira went 15th on 10, and S. Graham and Cam, who was sadly, I think, left the league, they're both on 9 and 6 points respectively. Unfortunately, I think I'm under the impression that Cam has left the chat, so that means he's left the league entirely. Constructors, we thought it will be quite close between some of the constructors battles as well. I can tell you it is, because Dams on 289 points, Arc Grand Prix in second on 284, and BWT Arden on 272. 17 points separating the top 3. It could be quite interesting for the constructors tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming into this event though, at the moment, Dams have a big advantage. They're the only people here at the moment with two drivers in one team, so Dams have a real advantage and an opportunity to pull away at the front before the final event.
Yeah, Spike has just came in as well, which is good to see. He's obviously part of the Univertosi team. MP Motorsport in 4th on 213 points. Campos in 5th on 193. Univertosi in 6th on 134. Carlin in 7th on 55. Sauber Jr. in 8th on 23. Prima in 9th on 17. And Trident in 10th on 15 points. No constructors, I'm glad to say, and no drivers, in fact, going home with the fabled nil point, not like the UK in Eurovision, obviously. Coming into tonight then, we're here at the Circuit of the Americas. 20 corners await the drivers out on track, and of course it's a Herman Tilke designed track, so obviously there's going to be a lot of overtaking and hopefully a lot of battling out there as well.
Fingers crossed, definitely, yeah, but this is obviously a track that's not usually on the Formula 2 calendar, just like Japan last time out. So it's going to be interesting to see how people can adapt to this circuit. I think it's going to be a pretty tricky one, just based on how different each three sectors are compared to each other. You've got obviously the first sector that resembles Japan and Britain, and then the second sector that's very high speed, and the third sector that's very low speed. So it's a real mix of a challenge of a circuit, especially for the F2 cars. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
I think with it being a real mix out on track in terms of the corners, we've got the high speed and the low speed sectors, it's going to make it so interesting tonight. And we have, I'm pleased to say, we've got 10 drivers, which I think was pretty much the average we were expecting tonight. I do believe we've got a couple of newbies in tonight as well. King J strikes out at me as a new driver. He is a Belgian driver, of course, part of the TTG team. How do you think he's going to get on in his debut in the Prima? And we've also got Vitinho in there as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I've not seen either King J or Vitinho race yet, so it will be interesting to see what their pace is. I think a mid-pack result for them is definitely possible today. It'll be good to see exactly where they finish, whether they can mix it at the front or whether they'll be just behind the front, but hopefully we get new challenges at the front of the field today.
Well, regardless, 10 drivers here, everyone's going to score points, so just continue round out on track. I think that's the motto that I want to really dig home at here tonight. We should be getting underway very shortly indeed, and I'm going to have a look at the comment section to see how you guys are doing here tonight for TTL F2. Season 7 sign-ups, I do believe, will be getting opened after tonight's racing as well, so if you do want to get involved, keep an eye out for that on the Twitter at TTL_F2 for that. You can probably hear me in the background. You don't want to hear two of me now, don't you? Do you? Do you want to hear two of me? No?
Do repeat it in the background. God, one's enough.
Yeah, Miz commenting there about the low turnout. It is so unfortunate, I think, that we have got a low turnout. A number of drivers have either got work commitments or are just feeling under the weather. And obviously, I wanted to speak about the coronavirus that is going around, and I think the best thing to do, honestly, in the coronavirus is keep updated with the latest health advice and the latest travel advice. I can't stress enough, washing your hands for 20 minutes, over the sink, whether you're at work, at school or at home, do it. Because it's 20 seconds that might actually save your life. That's all I'm going to say on that. And of course, it's going to be a developing situation. The USA's got cases, pretty much the whole world suffering right now. Italy posing that full lockdown as well. But hopefully we get over it, and knowing our true plucky British spirit, we definitely will. Blue skies then in America for this for TTL F2 of Season 6, Round 10. And with 10 drivers out on track, what are you expecting from one-shot qualifying, especially with Venom having that qualifying ban, of course?
Of course, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be hard, obviously, once again, to rule against the top 4 drivers in the championship, bar, obviously, Venom because of his penalty. But I think it's just got to be Honey Badger, really, hasn't it? I say it every week. And then someone else turns up and just absolutely kills qualifying and beats Honey Badger to it, but you can't rule against him. But hopefully Siege comes back with a bit more pace this weekend. He was a little bit middle distance. He was a bit he was kind of in the background a bit in Suzuka, and he just gained the lead of the championship the race before, and then almost immediately lost it the weekend after because his pace just wasn't quite there. So hopefully he's back on full pace today.
Well, we are on board with Venom, who obviously is going to serve that qualifying ban. You'll probably see him on this lap, hopefully retire out on track. He is I'm under the impression anyways that he's got a qualifying ban. It was confirmed in the chat. Hopefully he has seen that. I will, however, go on board with somebody else in the meantime as I try and flick through everyone. And we'll go on board with Honey Badger then, on board with a lap. He's in the Arc 1 pre-car, joint championship leader coming into tonight, and now through the S section, through 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pretty much like Maggots and Beckett, if you like, at Silverstone. And now through the first sector, it's a 28.5 through the first sector for Honey. He's doing a good job currently out on track as Sean has retired out of the session. The Campos man out of the race, out of the session early, but Honey Badger now running down the hill and coming through onto the main straight. Turn 11, the hairpin, very, very much a twisting and turning corner. If you lose the back end out of here, you're not going to recover it. And Honey manages to go through that very nicely. It is Spike out on top, Vic Mills, Siege. I know I was experiencing with Honey's setup that he's got a very quick straight line speed setup, and that has been proven because he just retakes the lead currently out on track. Now into turn 12, now into the very low speed final sector, and he's just cut the corner very nicely there on the inside. About a 110.2 through the middle sector is what's needed, and that's exactly what Honey Badger has done on his lap as Casper has retired from the session. Venom was supposed to use a qualifying ban up, I do believe. He is still going around there out on track. I think words might be had with him after the race, but Honey Badger now coming through the triple right-hander, Verstappen corner as I like to call it, 16, 17 and 18, through turn 19, into the final two corners. Spike, Honey Badger and Siege looking very close for qualifying at this stage, and now through the final corner, just has to correct the car, and Honey Badger, can he get Spike on the run to the line? Oh, it's a hundredth of a second separating the top two, and Siege only 0.2 of a second off as well, and I do believe Venom might have set a lap. I think a slapped wrist might be in order for the Scotsman, but out on track, it is Spike who takes it from Honey Badger. 10th of a second.
Yeah, 100th of a second, even that.
100th of a second.
Yeah. Like I said, exactly what I said. Honey Badger seems really fast in qualifying, and then someone comes out of nowhere. Today it was Spike. But yeah, Spike, the higher downforce setup really benefiting him in the last sector. He managed to repass Honey Badger just into the penultimate corner. So maybe that's the way to go, but Honey Badger is going to be incredibly fast in the race. And again, Siege back on pace, full pace now, only a 10th off. Really, really good to see.
Vic Mill not too far off either. We've got the main championship protagonists pretty much filling out second, third and fourth, and Venom obviously there in 6th position, and I'm sure some things will be said after the race. I know I confirmed it on anyways in the chat that he did have a qualifying ban. Hopefully he will go back on that, and we might see that for next week. But in the meantime, 10 drivers out on track, full F1 points available for these guys out on track, and we're here at the Circuit of the Americas if you are just tuning in to the action. I am James Head. Joining me in the commentary box, of course, is the lovely Aidan Carter.
Well, don't like to toot my own horn, but I'll let you do it for me. There we go.
He is, honestly, if you've seen him, yeah, totally.
Oh, Lord.
Oh dear. Yeah, we've gone down this route. We're never going to recover this back now.
No.
10 seconds to go then until the session starts. And what are we going to be looking for within the race? I think obviously with Spike and Honey Badger being so close in qualifying, it does set out to be a good race, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, but we could already tell from qualifying they're on completely different setups, so it's going to be really interesting to see which one would benefit. And just looking at tyre strategies as well, Siege has gone for the softer option. I believe, did he do this last time out in Japan? I think, was it Siege that went for the softer option at the start?
He did in the feature race in Japan, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him doing that. It didn't obviously quite pay out for him just because of kind of the chaos that we had really during that race, but he's gone for it again, as more people have actually gone for it this time. So we've got Maze, Venom, Vitinho and King J all on the super softs, and then everyone else on the mediums. Obviously there's a 2-step difference here, so the pace difference between these two tyres is going to be massive, so I imagine Siege is going to be the one to look out for at the start of this race.
Yeah, half a split actually in terms of super softs to mediums as well. So we've got 5 drivers on the set of super softs and 5 on the set of mediums. Spike, Honey Badger, Vic Mill, Casper and Sean all on a set of medium compound of tyres. They should be going to around lap 9, lap 10 I would think, as everyone nearly loses the car out to turn 12. The top 3 currently getting on with things out on track, and Siege, Maze, Venom, Vitinho and King J interestingly all going for a set of super soft compound of tyres. How do you think the guys Sunny out on track, and they're going to wear quite a pace around here, like 4-5% per lap?
Yeah, they're going to wear quite a number. I imagine it's going to be probably about...
Oh, Spike loses it.
Must be around lap 4 or 5 that these tyres are going to start going off. So it's going to be a case of using the super soft very quickly early on and trying to get in front of the people that you need to get in front before they eventually go off. So that's going to be the key for the first lap. I think it's going to be a case of everyone on the super softs trying to get the best start they can and trying to gain as many paces as possible before the tyres eventually drop off. As I think both Prima cars, obviously both new to the championship, have spun on the formation lap, so not the best start for them, but hopefully the race for them isn't similar to this.
Hopefully they don't spin it off the line, because I think we experienced that in League of Europe one time when I was commentating. Somebody spun off the start and caused a whole lot of chaos. That was, of course, with a full grid. I'm going to push you, though, for a top 3 out on track. Who are you going to go for?
I think I'm going to go for Honey Badger for the win, because I'm going to be boring and go for the safe option. I think second I'm going to go for Vic Nil, because as I say every week, he's Mr. Consistency. It seems like he's never not on the podium. So I think Vic Nil's going to go for second, and third I'm going to put Spike in third.
Just waiting up for Vitinho, I think, then to join on the back of the grid. He is currently starting in 7th position out on track, and we're just moments of way out on track. Venom said, by the way, for the next race he will pull over and let everyone through. I think his brother has just confirmed that on the stream. But we're getting ready then for 5 red lights here in the US. Championship battle about to get underway. Lights out and away we go. Very good start. Venom is pulling off to the side there, lets everyone through, which is good to see. But Spike, Honey Badger and Siege get pretty even start. Vic Mill trying to look up to the inside through turn 1, and with the lack of cars out on the grid, it looks like everyone is clean through turn 1, which is always what you like to see. Spike leads from Honey Badger into second, Siege in third, and they pretty much stay as they are through the first sector. Vic Mill, Maze, Vitinho has gained a position on Casper. They go side by side, a little bit of contact there between the Carling and the Prima, and it looks like Casper's letting everyone through on the outside line. Sean should go and waltz that through on the inside, maybe. No, Casper actually rejoins in front of him. So Casper right on the back of Venom early on, but Spike has got the gap out to about 5.5 tenths, running down towards turn 11 for the first time, and pretty much this is going to be one of the trickiest corners out on track. We've got side-by-side action in the meantime between King J and Venom, and Sean and Casper nearly going side-by-side. Casper runs in a little bit too deep, and Venom gets the move done in the meantime. Siege right on the back of Honey Badger. Let's go on board with the Dams against the Arc Grand Prix. These two teams, of course, are fighting in the Constructors as well. Siege trying to look down the inside. He's on super soft compound of tyres. You'll imagine he'll try and waltz this down the inside. Honey Badger, though, not having any of it, and the mediums going very nicely right on the outside now through turn 13, and it's still side by side between them both. Dams and the Arc Grand Prix cars fighting it out, but I think Siege has actually pulled off that move. So Siege up to second. Vitinho, I think, is round in the background, just losing a little bit of losing a couple of positions there. He's going past Sean as well. So Vitinho, not the greatest start from the Prima car out on track. Spike, though, has got the lead, but Siege needed to pass Honey Badger as we come towards the end of lap 1. It is Spike out in front from Siege in second, Honey Badger in third. A very clean start from pretty much everyone out on track, which is good to see. And at the end of lap 1, it's Spike who leads, but Siege right on the back of him. Honey Badger third, Vic Mill fourth, Mason fifth, Venom sixth, King J seventh, Casper eighth, Sean in ninth, and Vitinho in 10th. Siege looking to the inside, then down into turn 1. Oh, a little bit too deep on the brakes. Spike saw him coming though, and Siege could actually pull this move off around the outside of turn 2. He will have the superior traction, but he just dives in behind him. So Spike holds on to the lead of the race. First lap thoughts, Aiden?
Incredibly clean stuff, and the top four already starting to gap the rest of the field. But yeah, Siege doing what he needed to do in passing his championship rivals all over the back of Spike already. He needs to try and get the move done before obviously his tyres go off, like I said. And good sportsmanship from Venom, obviously realising that he made a mistake by setting a lap time and letting everyone through, which already back up to 6th place. So he's dropped back and then immediately gone forwards again. So good stuff from Venom, and God, look at the top four basically pushing each other through the hairpin.
Maze and Venom are not too far off this either. Maze has had a very good and clean start, and Casper just losing it in the background of shot there, but now Siege trying to get the move done. Spike trying to break the toe, running down the long kilometre straight here in Austin, Texas, and Siege down the inside, goes late on the Dams. Oh my God, can he get the move done? I think Spike might just have this one. Honey's trying to get involved as well. The top 3 now really beginning to vibe. Vic Mill is wetting his lips at this stage. The pull right on the back of these guys, and Spike and Siege fight side by side through and towards turn 15 here, and Siege has got the move done on Spike. Terrific racing. Can the Universality surely not hang this down the inside through the triple right-hander? He can't, and Siege is up to first position. Good move.
Brilliant move from Siege. Really, really... Oh, Spike nearly into the back of Siege. Really well held, but Siege really, really late on the break, so how we managed to get that stopped, I do not know, but really, really good stuff from Siege, basically putting off exactly the same move he pulled on Honey Badger. Now we need to try and gap him before the DRS starts to take effect.
Honey Badger right on the back of Spike. In the meantime, Venom got past Maze as well. That was for 5th position out on track. Honey down to the inside on Spike. Not going to get the move done. A little bit of a push to pass there from Venom as well on the back of Vicmil. Vicmil, didn't he have a little bit of moment out there? Turn 1. I think Venom's got up the inside and he has done. And it's side by side actually running through the S section. Through 3 and 4. And Vicmil has to back out of that one. But Venom, I think with the superior pace, I think Vicmil was always going to be on the receiving end of that. And Venom completes the move for 4th. Did Vicmil lose it out of turn 1?
Yeah, he got a really poor exit out of the corner. He was trying to react to Honey Badger and Spike getting slow exits and just overcooked it, I think. And got a poor exit, and that's obviously let Venom through. But Venom already back up to P4 and in with a shot for the race lead because he's also started on the super softs. He just went a little bit wide at the hairpin, so Spike is immediately back on him. Venom absolutely flying.
Yeah, Siege just trying to break the toe down the straight. You can see they're actually running on the dustier part of the circuit. King J has just lost the position to Cass, but that was down into turn 11. Here comes Spike then down the inside. Are we going to have 2x2 Noah's Ark? I think we might. Spike down the inside line on Siege. He picks up a 3-second time penalty and takes the bollard flying with him as well. And is he going to get the move done around the outside in the Universality? Venom and Honey Badger. Venom with the much superior pace trying to get around the outside here on Honey. A little bit of contact. Honey off the camera of the corner making a little bit of side-by-side contact, and this is side-by-side through the triple right-hander. This is never going to be good. Venom down the inside line. I know he's got the super softs, but Honey Badger is still fighting this around the outside. Brilliant racing between them both. This is on the edge stuff here, and Honey Badger has been minced right around the outside of Venom, and Venom gets up to P3. What a move!
Brilliant move from Venom, and Spike pulling off exactly the same move Siege pulled in him a lap before. It's that crossover period, the super softs aren't the stronger tyre anymore, but Venom is utterly flying. The Siege is going for the move on the lead.
Oh, Honey Badger down the inside as well on Venom. Actually trying to go around the outside, I do apologise. Spike has got back through into the lead of the race. Siege.
Oh my word.
Oh.
Honey Badger understeered into the side of Venom. So lucky he didn't make wheel-to-wheel contact because that would have spun him out. But Christ, he just understeered into the side of Venom in turn 2.
I tell you who's taking this just that little bit more conservatively, Vicmil. He's right on the back of these guys. He's got a little bit of a desync, I think, in terms of running over the curbs, but Vicmil right on the back of this, and he's probably thinking at this point, except from just getting caught on the curb there, he's now probably thinking, I need to catch back up to the back of Honey and try and get the moves done. But Vicmil, I think, wetting his lips at this stage.
This is exactly what he's done in previous races. So he did it in Singapore and he ended up winning and dominated the whole weekend. So it's a good strategy from him at the moment. He's just letting everything play out in front and wait for a little bit of chaos, which we've almost had so far. As Siege is going for the move on Spike and Venom's going to try and go for the move on Siege.
Siege not going to go down the inside. I think he half committed that into the corner. Venom is right on the back of this as well. The Scotsman absolutely flying out on track. In terms of the championship standings, by the way, currently out on track, it would be Siege retaking the championship lead from Honey after Honey's dominant win in the sprint race, last week. But Honey right trying to fight the back. But as you say that, I think that crossover period is now coming to fruition. We've got Spike in front, Siege in second, Venom in third. Let's have a look at the position gains. 3 positions gained for Venom from his starting position. Of course, he let everyone through down towards turn 1. The 2 Primas are having a bit of a private battle right at the back of the field as well, the Belgian and the Brazilian of King J and Vitinho. But Venom right on the back.
Yeah, Venom got an incredible run out the last corner. He's going for the inside. Siege not able to
2 for 1! 2 for 1! He's gone way too deep, surely. And he has. Yeah. He's gone well off track. And he might let Honey Badger through here as well. He rejoins track safely, and Honey Badger around the outside. Venom losing 3 positions as a result of that.
Yeah, just way too deep on the brakes. They're just overcommitted, trying to pass Siege, and Spike did well to see that one coming and avoid it before anything catastrophic happened. But yeah, a costly mistake from Venom. He's back down behind Honey Badger, and the super soft's starting to wear thin now because Spike is starting to put a gap to Siege.
Interesting, Vitinho's actually already came into the pit. He's now on a set of medium compound tyres, so I think that will get him to the end. 11 laps on a set of mediums probably to happen, and I think there was a brief yellow flag in there because I'm under the impression he might have just spun out the pits.
I didn't actually quite see that. He either spun out the pits or he was just slow coming out. He may have kept the red limiter on, he may have kept the pit limiter on for too long, we're not quite sure, but no one at the front quite yet close enough to make a move. No. Venom's not quite close enough to make the move.
Yeah, everyone looking like they're stuck in the DRS train there.
At the moment, yeah, but Honey Badger now climbing all over the back of Siege, who runs wide. Siege is wide. Is Honey Badger going to go for the move?
He is. He's going to think about it. Around the outside. Switch back.
Siege does have the better line into the corner. Honey Badger not able to get the run on the exit. But yeah, the super softs have definitely worn thin. Honey Badger climbing all over the back of Siege now.
All of this battling, though, beginning to let Spike get away and just hanging off the camber of the corner through the triple right-hander. Spike will lead the way.
He's not going to go around the outside, is he?
No way.
He does, but Siege pulls into the pits. But still, if he'd pulled that move off,
bravery.
Hats off to Honey Badger. Christ almighty. Yeah, Siege comes in, but Venom stays out.
Yeah, Venom's staying out. So it looks like he's got the pace, I think, over Honey, and he's certainly keeping the gap to Vicmill. Maybe he's wanted to go a little bit of a lap under. The overcut can work around here, but it's very difficult to get it done.
It is very difficult, and obviously coming out of the pits on a set of cold tyres immediately into the first sector can be pretty dangerous just because of the change of direction. So it might be worth staying on the warmer tyres and using the warmth in the tyres to get you through the first sector and go for the overcut, like you say.
It's actually beginning to cloud over, I do believe, a little bit out on track through the middle sector as Spike just gets caught on the AstroTurf on the outside, loses 2.5 tenths of a second as a result, nearly 3 tenths in fact as a result. Now Honey is climbing all over the back of him. King J, by the way, is into the pit and has been undercut by his teammate. Undercut does definitely work around here, as proven. Patino now up into 9th position. Private battle happening further down the field. There's a yellow flag in second one. King J is round at turn 1. I think that's just on cool tyres there. Honey Badger right on the back of Spike. Not going to get the move done, but I think we will have a move done because Casper flies past Maze down the straight. Can he get the car stopped though? He can't. He runs miles wide, nearly off to the Mexican border. There was Casper, and I think he might just let Maze through around the outside here. Oh, a little bit of contact. Casper should have just let the position go, I think, there. He can easily come back at him with Maze being on the super softs.
Yeah, definitely. I think Maze will be in this lap by the looks of things, as will Venom, as Venom's starting to struggle to slow the car down into these corners. Victor almost passed him in that point, but I think Victor recognised that Venom's going to be coming in.
Yeah, Venom's in.
Maze follow suit as well.
Maze should follow suit. Lap 6, I think, is the premium of the super soft compound of tyres, to be honest. So Maze is into the pits and Venom into the pits as well. What does that do to the battle? It does do the battle for the lead though, because Spike and Honey still separating, and they're just beginning to gap Vicmill. Vicmill now released into a little bit of clean air. These two battle. Vicmill could be on top of these guys by the end of the lap as Honey gets a superior run out of turn 2. Nearly went into the back of him. Goodness me.
Christ almighty, yeah, Honey Badger just goes so much more confidence, but like you say, Vicmill, he got a little bit held up by Venom on that last lap and he's lost a bit of time, but look, he's already gained 4 tenths on Spike and Honey Badger in front of him in the first sector.
Very close coming out the pits. Very close coming out the pits. Siege trying to go around the outside on Venom. Venom has managed to cut an overcut, or has he? Siege on the inside line. Never going to get that one done. So Venom ahead and produces the overcut actually to perfection.
Yeah, I'm actually quite shocked, just based on how Venom was struggling on that last lap, that Siege wasn't able to get past Venom. But now it's a case of these two. Do these two have the pace on the newer tyres to basically pass them when they come out? It's Honey Badger and Spike side by side. Back down the inside. Honey Badger's got the outside line, but it's got caught on the curve.
Oh, that's brilliant wrestling. Honey Badger on the inside line, surely going to have the superior way through the corner.
Runs a little bit deep though. The Spike trying to fight back, but he's not able to. Just
switch back
through the corner. Always going to get
no way! No way! Can he?
He's going to do it. Is he going to do it?
Oh, Honey Badger's on the inside line. It's still side by side. Look at how much costing the time though, because there's Vicmill right on the back.
They've lost over a second just in those 2 corners with their fighting. Now Spike's going to have the DRS on Honey Badger, who gets a poor exit out the corner.
Honey Badger doesn't have the DRS.
No, Interestingly. Doesn't have it either. They must have gone through it through the
side
DRS
by side. They must have.
Yeah. Spike doesn't go for the move at turn 1.
Yeah, Vicmill having the DRS behind them, which I totally understand. Casper's run on the back of Sean running up towards turn 1 as well. However, the Finn is not going to go for the move there. Both of them still yet to come into the pits, as are the top 3. But Vicmill, as you say, has gained a second over Spike. It's just picked up a 3-second time penalty, but Vicmill surely on the back of this. And do you think, with these two battling, Vicmill could actually win this race now?
It's gonna. I think it's going to be a case of whether Spike can keep up with Honey Badger, because look through the first sector, Honey Badger's starting to pull away. Honey Badger definitely had more pace than Spike, and Spike was holding Honey Badger up, and that's what allowed Vicmil to catch back up. I'm not quite sure if they're able to keep with Honey Badger at this point.
King J retires. That was into the pit wall, I do believe, through the final corner. Looking at where that car is, I think it's into the pit wall. Or on the inside of the wall at the final corner. The car will be removed though by the time we get around with the top 3 guys. They still stay as they are. Casper right on the back of Sean. Sean taking the defensive line on the inside. Casper trying to go around the outside. Never going to pull that one off. Sean.
Spike for the lead. He's overcooked it though. Honey Badger saw it coming.
God, I can't keep up.
God, Honey Badger locked up a little bit into the corner before and ran wide, and Spike was able to try and get the undercut, but he just outbraked himself. He didn't need to brake that late because he still would have been on the inside if he hadn't braked so late.
Spike's gonna have to come into the pit, surely.
It's really struggling. He doesn't come in. Vicmil's at the inside.
Vicmil down the inside of the final corner. You never see a move pulled off here, but he has done. The pull up the inside for second. Brilliant move.
Brilliant move. Yeah, really nice move from Vicmil. Really opportunistic. Making sure that he gets the move down on Spike before Spike holds him up any longer. Spike back down the inside of the hairpin though. You'll see as it come in and leave some space.
Got the move. Through. This is unreal racing.
But now, Honey Badger's over a second in front. This fighting between the two of them is allowing Honey Badger to get away.
It's beginning to cost
the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Venom in clear air has got ahead of Siege and is pulling away actually on that set of that slightly fresher set of the mediums. So Venom beginning to pull away. Sean picking up a 3-second time penalty.
Sorry to interrupt, looking at lap times on that last lap, Venom 1.5 seconds faster than Honey Badger.
In terms of overall lap time as well, he's 8 tenths quicker, he's 3 tenths quicker than Siege, but 8 tenths quicker than Honey Badger. Venom is actually within a realistic chance of winning this now.
He has a very good chance, but he just picks up a penalty though, and I haven't seen Honey Badger pick one up yet, so Honey Badger keeps
picking Vicmil. Vicmil to the inside line, the BWT Ardent going down the inside of the Univertosi. Can he get the move done? The Pink Panther pretty much down the inside there, and Vicmil has got the move done. Spike trying to fight on those tyres, but it looks like they are beginning to blister off the tyres, quite literally. Spike trying to go down the inside line. I don't think he's got the tyres to pull off a move, and Vicmil has got it through up the P2. I think Spike should have pitted last lap and came out behind Siege, and then he would have been within a chance of getting these two later on in the race.
Possibly, yeah. I think Spike's trait is he goes through the tyres quite quickly. Vicmil's very kind on his tyres, but Spike's staying out another lap. Maybe he's just not confident in those super softs lasting for the rest of the race. He wants to try and stick with these guys in front. Can Vicmil catch Honey Badger now? Vicmil's trait is he's very good at keeping the tyres in check. He's very good at keeping a consistent pace on his set of tyres. Can he close in Honey Badger and try and battle him for the net race lead, basically? So it's a yellow flag somewhere as
Vitinho leaving the session. I mean, I don't really see the point in guys leaving the session. They are on for points anyways. I said get in the session and fight what's worth. Even if you get lapped, you're still going to get points. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's a real shame to see because he would have got points, and if there's any chaos or anyone's spins, there was a possibility of him starting on reverse grid pole. So unless he's lagged out of the session, I don't see the point in leaving myself either.
Don't think he would have.
No, but
didn't look
Honey Badger still pulling away from Vicmil. Vicmil not able to keep up with Honey Badger at this point.
Yeah, Honey Badger pulling away.
Yeah.
1.6 seconds. Spike going on the back.
Is Spike going to go for a late move again? He is going to look for it. He brakes late. He's going to go for the move. Ooh. Little bit of contact. Well held from Spike, but yeah, Spike kept it very close to the side of Vicmil's car there, kind of trying to force Vicmil into not turning in, I think.
Sean down the inside line of Casper, sorry to cut in. The Finn trying to go around the outside. He had the right of the corner. He had so much pace compared to Sean down the straight. Sean is still fighting this. Casper just hanging off the camera of the corner, forced him a little bit wide. And
Sean back down the inside.
Sean back down the inside. Casper trying to go around the outside. Very difficult to control these cars. But Sean has pulled it off around the outside for fourth. And the leaders, the top three are in.
All three of them in at the same time. How bizarre. I would have expected at least one of the top three to come in a lap earlier and try and undercut each other, which is like what you were saying, basically. I would have expected one of them to come in a lap earlier and try and get the undercut, but no, they've all come in at exactly the same time.
And Sean and Casper both in as well. So Venom now coming around the final corner. This is going to be so intriguing. These guys now out on a set of super soft compound of tyres. Honey Badger is the first one out of the pits. I think Venom's got the undercut done to perfection. He's going to be well ahead of these guys. Venom going across on the right hand side of your screen. He must be at least 3-4 seconds nearly ahead of Honey Badger. As Venom leads, Siege in second. Honey Badger obviously on the quicker tyre in third. Vicmill fourth. And Spike down to fifth. Sean and Casper will come out, I do believe, behind Maze as well. So Maze is going to cut these guys as well.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting towards the end of this race, because this is a prime opportunity for Venom. The two championship leaders who are tied on points are going to be battling each other. They're going to be the first to battle each other at the when they meet at the end of probably the next lap, just based on the pace difference he's probably going to have. Prime opportunities for Venom to try and gap and gain points from each other in the standings. What can Vicmill do as well? He's obviously fourth in the standings, fourth on the road at the moment, and he's behind all three of his championship rivals. He needs to try and outscore as many of them as possible to stay in the running. He's still got Spike not too far behind him as well. Spike obviously is incredibly fast, so...
The quietest point in the race, I do believe. On lap 11 out of 16 as Venom just locks up in towards turn 12 there, but he's got a gap of about 1.7 seconds over Siege, but you can already see that gap beginning to come down, and the two championship leaders tied on points, Honey Badger and Siege, are about to do battle here out on track. If this is not an excuse to get everyone to tune in, I don't know what is.
Absolutely, it's Honey Badger. Right, 7/10 of a second already. He's absolutely flying.
Sean catching Maze at a rate of knots as well. I think Maze came out about 2 seconds ahead of Sean. Sean is already going to be on the back of Maze and maybe even past him on to the 12th lap. But Venom leads, Siege in second. Here we go though, because Honey Badger is right within the DRS range. He's not going to get the move done down towards turn 1 unless he's very late on the brakes. He's not going to think about it even. And Honey Badger actually pulling away from Vicmill as well. Out of turn 2, this is it between the two championship leaders. It is Siege and Honey Badger out on track, but already the battle beginning to show, and Honey Badger looks well quicker than Siege at this stage. But Siege, what he's got to do is hold up Honey Badger, could get Vicmill and Spike into things, and let Venom pull away. Venom is beginning to gap that gap, beginning to find that gap out, and it's already 5/10 of a second.
Honey Badger gets that penalty that we said he hadn't got yet. He's picked it up behind Siege. He went straight into the back of Siege in the middle of turn 2. It was so much more grip and pace. The Siege one's wide in the hairpin.
Off the traction of the corner though, the outside line is always the one to be on. Honey Badger and Siege.
Yeah, Siege not able to defend because Honey Badger's so close to him, he can't move over, so Honey Badger has surely got the move done.
Honey Badger should just cover this off, or just about covers him off, and Honey Badger's through. He's up to second. Pretty much a very easy move there. Maze has dropped down a couple of positions. Sean and Casper have already gone past him, so the Dam's car struggling out on track. And in terms of the championship battle, obviously Dam's outscoring Arc Grand Prix at this stage. Maze right on the back of Casper actually coming in towards turn 12. Not going to be pulling that one off. We've got 8 human drivers out on track, 1 AI car, Vitinho, who is still going around there out on track. If he does decide to join the session within the next 5 laps, he will pick up the points. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Get into the session and pick up the points. That's what I say.
Absolutely, and Honey Badger ran incredibly wide in the penultimate corner, really track extending there. I don't know, someone picked that up, and he got the fastest up as well because of
Vicmill.
Vicmill takes
and Spike.
And Spike goes even faster. Obviously, Vicmill and Spike weren't held up in the first sector like Honey Badger was, so they've been able to set the fastest lap. Is that a point that Vicmill's going to steal away from the championship leader?
Spike 47.8, Vicmill 48.0, Honey Badger 48.4. So you're correct, that first sector, Honey Badger cost about 5-6 cents of a second. It adds up.
It absolutely adds up, yeah, and that's what's cost Honey Badger. Does he have the pace to get that fastest lap off of Spike before the end of the race? Honey Badger's already within 7 tenths of a second, sorry, of Venom in front. Crazy how quickly he was able to catch him.
Yeah, he just ran wide there actually through turn 9, and on the exit towards turn 10, Honey Badger just getting caught on the AstroTurf of the corner. Vicmill is right on the back of Siege as well. Siege is under all sorts of pressure, and his championship lead that he potentially had coming at the start of this race is gone completely because Vikmil, I think, is now lining up a move on Siege. Look at the speed of the BWT Arden down the inside. Can he get the car stopped? I think he can. Oh, sails it down the inside to perfection. And Vikmil gets the move done to 3. Might be the easiest move you might see all season.
Absolutely. The straight line speed of Vikmil have was insane. And Honey Badger all over the back of Venom now. Is he going to get it done in the last sector? Oh, a little bit of a side from Honey Badger. Doesn't get the exit he wants, but can he? He's not really expecting it. And I'll spike on the back of Siege as well.
Venom just taking that corner flat out. Oh, Honey Badger gets caught on the outside curb. He loses time through turn 19. He just got caught on the outside curb. Very costly there. And that could have cost him a chance to go for the move down towards turn 1. It's 0.6 of a second. He's definitely not going to get this one done. Vikmil, new fastest lap. 47.7. And look at Spike right on the back of Siege as well. It's all kicking up big time here with 3 laps to go. Spike down the inside line. The Univertosi down the inside of the dams. And he's got the move done, so Spike up to 4th position, and I don't think Siege was going to put up a fight with that one.
Absolutely not, and this is a massive problem for Siege now, is that he is 5th and slowest of the title runners at the moment, and Honey Badger's gunning for the win. This is going to give Honey Badger a massive advantage, and Venom made a slight mistake as well, so Honey Badger's all over the back of him.
Well, remember, Honey Badger actually on a set of Super Softs, and indeed everyone out on the Super Softs, their tyres will begin to go off on the final lap of the race. Honey Badger, I think, if he wants this, he's got to do it now.
Absolutely, yeah, and he's got a really good run out the corner. Will Venom defend? Siege didn't defend any of the positions that he lost. Will Venom defend the position from Honey Badger?
He's edging across slightly. Honey Badger down the inside line. I think Venom is actually Venom's gonna hold it around the outside, surely. Oh, Honey Badger's through.
Yeah, Honey Badger put Venom on the curb and Venom can get the exit out the corner, so smart move from Honey Badger. But yeah, I'm really surprised because neither Venom nor Siege defended their positions. Surely MCL Venom is 3rd in the standings with a prime opportunity to gain time on both drivers in front of him in the standings. Surely wouldn't you defend it with 3 laps to go?
Yeah, if I was in his position, I would have defended that for my life, if I've got to be honest. If my life depended on it, I would have fought that. But he might be playing the tactical game as he picks up a 3-second time penalty to get the DRS and to come back down towards turn 1. Watch the exit. He's about 3.5 tenths away. Honey Badger just beginning to pull away. But look at the straight line speed of Venom. He has got a quick straight line speed set up in that car. Can he go for the move down into turn 1? He's not going to even bother. But at this moment in time, Honey Badger out in front, penultimate lap of the race. Venom in 2nd, and I've got to be honest, if this is a PG stream, and I'm going to say it anyways, I think Venom should have grown a little bit of balls to try and defend those positions.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked that he hasn't defended that, but Honey Badger he's a little bit all over the place in the first sector, so Venom's keeping up with him.
Are those tyres going off?
Already, it looks like they are, because Venom climbing all over the back of him in the SS section, really. Honey Badger just couldn't seem to get the car turned in.
Venom pulling away from Vikmil as well, which is quite noticeable because Vikmil's on the same strategy. Oh, and Venom nearly locks up into the back of Honey Badger. Goodness me, if you could not get any closer to that. And Venom, his run is still there, but he's going to be way, way back for this move on this lap. If he gets closer, the crossover period, I think, is going to come on the final lap of the race. So the mediums will be inferior to the set of Super Softs that Honey Badger is running. Watch out for the final lap of the race because we've got Spike right on the back of Vikmil as well.
Absolutely, yeah, they've really got to watch out, and that was such a shame for Venom because that was a prime opportunity to retake the lead, and he managed to make the mistake at the hairpin that cost him the run. Just going to have a look at time penalties as well. I think Honey Badger's on 1 penalty, so is Vikmil. How many penalties is... Venom's on 2 penalties at the moment. Actually, yeah, he's on 2 penalties at the moment, but both Honey Badger and Vikmil are only 1 warning away from getting their 2nd penalty. So
Vikmil 3 seconds.
There we go, there's the 2nd penalty for Vikmil. So Honey Badger, if he makes 1 wide moment and gets that warning, it's still all on for this race win. I don't know how many Spikers got either.
I'll have a quick check.
He's got 1 penalty as well, so he's going to jump Venom and Vikmil at this point. How about Siege? Siege doesn't have a penalty at all. How far behind is Siege?
He's 6 seconds. 6 seconds behind Honey Badger.
Yeah, so he's dropped way off the back of this group at the front, and Spike picking up a 2nd penalty. So he's now not going to jump Venom and Vikmil.
This is all beginning to add up. So the top 4, I think, have got 2 2 penalties each, haven't they?
Except for Honey Badger, he's got 1 penalty and 2 warnings. So he's trying his absolute best to try and keep it clean on the last lap and not lose places. But Siege the only one in the top 5 without a penalty at the moment.
Siege, I think, is going to pick up a podium regardless of what happens out on track within the next, well, 8 corners or so, because Honey Badger running down the straight has got about a 7/10 lead. Venom trying to chase him in vain at the minute, but Venom trying to get on him, but he's not going to close up, and again locks up. John, he's actually had a bit of a nearly a half spin out the corner. Goodness me, well controlled by the Scotsman. Spike round on the back of Vickmill. All of this is beginning to add up to Siege, but he's now out of that 6 seconds range to Honey Badger. So if he can keep the gap to Venom to 6 seconds, then I think he could be on for second in this race.
Yeah,
Honey Badger then.
Spike a massive moment coming out of that corner. That has affected his run on Vickmill, so he will not be getting P3.
Honey Badger coming around the final 2 corners through turn 19. Venom is giving Hop a shoot, but he's not going to get any closer. And Honey Badger comes around the final corner with 1 3-second time penalty. He's going to take the win in the feature race and extend his championship lead. Honey Badger wins from Venom in second, Vickmill third, Spike fourth. But Siege, watch out for him. There he goes into second position. No penalties out on track for the Dams car. And well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Aquan 3 obviously outscoring Siege, but it all depends on what Maze is doing as Casper is round at turn 19. Maze right on the back of him. Could he pick up an extra point perhaps, Maze, on the back of Casper? Let's find out. And he does, he jumps him on penalties.
Yeah, he does, and I don't know how many points is in the 7th position. I'm not actually quite sure myself.
6, so 24 for Dams, 25 or 26 for Honey Badger. Wow. So I think Aquan Prix is still out in front.
Heading up the field, yeah. But smart driving from Siege. Maybe the battling, he didn't want to battle too much because he didn't want to lose much time and possibly gain a penalty, and that's gaining in P2 in the end despite being on slow strategy.
Tremendous race in TTL F2. That was the feature race. We've still got the sprint race to come. Goodness me, how on earth this is going to be. Unfortunately, the 2 Prima drivers haven't made it back into the session, which is a shame. They could have fought for points because the top 10 do get points within the sprint race, and hopefully we do have a better grid, of course, next week as well. But Honey Badger takes the win, but look at all the penalties, albeit 6 seconds for a majority of the guys. Really affects them in the standings. Honey Badger takes the win from Siege in second. Venom gets my Driver of the Race award with his comeback from the back of the field, remember, after pulling off to the side. Vickmill finishing in 4th, Spike in 5th. I've never seen the top 5 so close all season, with 6.5 seconds separating them. Sean in 6th, Mates in 7th, Casper in 8th. Vitinho, unfortunately, those points do not count towards his championship standings, and neither does King J's points either, because they didn't finish the race. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Well then, that's the feature race over and done with. Sprint race is about to get going, and oh my god, we are in, I think, for an absolute treat. If the feature race was that close, I know we've only got 8 drivers, but surely this might be the cleanest 8 drivers of the season that we've got.
Absolutely, yeah. Incredible, really close, great racing between everyone in the field, and still really good opportunity for some of the championship runners to get good points. It's a possibility for the likes of Vickmill to gain more points back because he wasn't off the pace at all. He was pretty much matching everyone else around him. He just unfortunately started lower down in qualifying, which cost him pretty much in that race. So maybe starting further up in the sprint race is going to help him out quite a lot.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate, I think, out on track that did happen. But obviously we are coming into the sprint race, and this is going to be really intriguing. Top 8 reversed, so you pretty much got the top 8 completely reversed from the last race. It is obviously Honey Badger starting in 8th position. 11 laps then await the drivers out on track. Casper leads us off from Maze, and I think we're in for an absolute treat.
I think we're definitely in for a treat in this race. Can Casper, Maze and Sean keep the battle up at the front, or is it going to be another case of the championship rivals coming through the field and taking the wins again? I can't bet on who's going to win this one, but I think I'm going to put my money on Venom just based on his pace.
Venom, did you say?
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on Venom for this race. I think out of all the drivers on the field, I think Venom showed the most pace in the last race. Unfortunately, the penalties got him in the end, but I think Venom's going to be the one to watch in this one.
Yeah, Venom, I think, obviously, having that supposed qualifying ban, obviously pulling off to the side, we'll see what happens with that from race 1. And again, obviously, you can't serve a qualifying ban in the sprint race either. So, I don't know, will the stewards be lenient, do you think, to Venom letting everyone through and then coming through to fight his own accord through the field? Or do you think a more severe punishment could be on the cards for him?
I'm not exactly sure, really, because he did drop to the back of the field, so that is kind of similar to starting at the back. However, obviously everyone else behind him started a position lower than they should have. So they eventually would have lost out at turn 1, especially if one of them would have got a good start. They couldn't have really gone anywhere with it, so it's going to be a real difficult one to judge.
It will be a difficult one to judge, and obviously everyone on the same compound of tyres. So we've got 11 laps, pretty much on the limit of what these medium tyres can do out on track. 8 drivers out there. We're going to get these drivers will get at least a minimum of 4 points, which is, I think, the best thing that could possibly happen. Casper obviously out on front. Vickmill spinning out at turn 19 there. That wouldn't set his nerves right.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well. That's definitely the best way to start, just right before the grid lines up. So hopefully he's able to shake that off and get a good start. What's
your top 3 quickly?
I think Venom's going to win. I think second I'm going to go for Spike, and third I'm going to go for Honey Badger.
I'm going to go Honey Badger for the win. I think he might extend his championship lead, but with Siege behind him in the championship standings, watch out for him in this race. I think he'll be second. And for third, I'm going to throw a bit of a wild one in there and say Spike for third. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you take the start.
Okay, well then, here we go then. 3, 4 and 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Who are the top 2 gets the best start? Lights go out incredibly quickly. Very even start. Vickmill looks like he's got a good start behind Sean, as has Spike. Spike's past Sean. He's going to go for the move on Maze at turn 1. Casper clear at front, but really deep into the corner. Oh, a little bit closer. A bit of contact there between Sean and was that Venom that there was a little bit of contact with? Yeah. Spike up to P2. Maze runs a little bit wide. Honey Badger wide as well. Vickmill's up to P3. Wow, side by side through there. Venom's back up to P5 despite the moment at turn 1. He's going to go down the inside of Maze for P4 as well. Is he going to get it done? He's not quite there. He's not going to quite get the move done. Honey Badger now looking on Venom as well. Sean sadly dropping positions at the start because of that contact. Siege not able to make any positions either.
He's making a slight mistake.
Honey Badger around the outside as Venom goes to the inside of Maze. We're not going to go 3 wide into the hairpin,
no
surely
way.
not. No, Maze outbreaks himself though, and Venom's down the inside, and Honey Badger gets the cross back on him. Oh, a little bit of contact between Honey Badger and Maze, but yeah, Maze being swallowed up by the pack. Casper keeps the lead just, but Spike is all over him now. Casper defending like his life depends on it. This is what Venom should have done in the feature race. And Spike goes to the outside.
No way.
Really late on the brakes. Casper gives him the space, and Spike pulls the move off. Brilliant move from Spike. Is Casper going to be able to come back at him though into the next corner? He's not close enough by the looks of things, as Maze and Sean are fighting for P6 at the moment. Oh, and Casper's
off!
hit the wall. Yeah, too eager on the traction on the exit of the corner, I think, and he's just spun and hit the wall. Such a shame for Casper, being right at the front. He had a great start and he was defending really well. Yeah, he's already out of the running. So that's promoted pretty much everyone up. That's promoted all the championship runners up another position. But just notice, all the championship runners bar Siege have been able to make it through the pack. Siege still down in 7th, hasn't really gained a place yet. Still not able to get through on Sean and Maze, and that's allowing Honey Badger, Venom and Vickmill all to disappear in front of him. And Spike is absolutely flying up front. He's already nearly got a second gap to Vickmill.
Sean, oh my god, nearly into the back of Maze. And Siege going to have this around the outside, I think. Oh, is he?
Yeah, he does. Sean backs out. Yeah, Siege pulls the move off. Nice move from Siege. I was going to catch back up to the back of the leaders as Vickmill's now starting to hold Venom and Honey Badger up a little bit. Spike is getting away at front. Vickmill's not quite got the pace to keep up with him at the moment. Venom really fastest first sector.
1.1 seconds currently separating the top 2 out on track, with Venom is all over the back of Vickmill and Honey Badger is right all over the back of Venom as well. This is going to be a very intriguing race out on track. As you say, the main championship protagonists, we've got Vickmill, Venom, Honey Badger, then Siege down in 6th position, currently out on track. But Spike beginning to pull away, and I think the sprint race is really the making of him, beginning to pull away once again out on track. He took the feature race, of course, in Japan last time out, but Venom trying to get onto the back of Vikmil, not going to be quite close enough. But a very clean start, and Casper's spin, was that just an application of the throttle a bit too much there?
I think from my angle, I think it was a case of he was trying to get the power down to try and re-pass Spike into their score, and he just put too much throttle on and spun into the wall, sadly. And a little bit wide, but Honey Badger not close enough to make the move stick there. He's still behind Maze. Look at the gap between Maze and Honey Badger already, nearly 2 seconds now. Siege is really swapping time at this point.
I think,
but
honestly...
Spike is gone.
Yeah, if I've got to admit, Vikmil and Spike, but normally what we see in the sprint race is the leader begins to gap the field early, then the gap begins to decrease during the course of the race. I think we've always seen that in the sprint race, yeah.
He's going to go for the move for turn 1? No, he's not going to go for it.
Didn't have the DRS down the straight either. Siege down the inside on Maze, trying to get the move done. Tamskar not making it hard for himself there, but Siege has got the move done. He's up to 5th.
Back up to 5th, yeah. So he's already nearly 3 seconds on the back of his championship rivals, though he's lost so much time in the opening phases. And Venom has lost so much more pace than Vikmil at this moment in time. He really needs to try and pass him to keep up the Spike.
Gap pretty much stayed the same, I think, out in front, though, in the course of the last lap or so. 1.8 seconds now between Spike and Vikmil. Venom in 3rd, Honey Badger in 4th. Siege now 5th. He's up 2 positions. Maze in 6th and Sean down in 7th position. Obviously, Casper out of the race early on. For this, we should see one of the first overtakes of this sprint race, with Venom right on the back of Vikmil. Honey Badger not really getting the run out of the corner, and it looks like the MP Motorsport is going to be side by side and pretty much past. Already, the BWT Arden and the MP of Venom is going to cut off the line of Vikmil, sorry. And Honey Badger trying to go down the inside line as well there, but they stay as they are. Venom up to 2nd, and Maze and Sean are battling in the background of Sean as well. They're side by side now running into turn 13. Can Maze get the move done down the inside on Sean? Sean trying to hang it around the outside. But is he going to get it down the inside? I think he might. Sean down the inside, Maze around the outside.
Maze.
Very close.
Yeah,
Maze with the traction.
With the better, yeah, on the outside, he's going to get the better one out of the corner. Sean nearly into the back of Maze through the triple right-hander, but yeah, good move from Maze.
That was just purely, I think, Maze shutting the door on Sean and saying, well, I'm going to hold you up for a little bit. That's all it was there.
Absolutely, but yeah, Spike's still pulling away from Venom despite Venom passing, and now Honey Badger on the back of Vikmil.
Yeah, and Spike set fastest lap as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
interesting.
Venom passing Vikmil and then not able to really gain any time on Spike. I think Spike has got a lot of good pace at the moment, and Siege is starting to catch back up to this group a little bit as well. So these 3 fighting in front is starting to allow Siege to close a bit more time back in.
Yeah, 2.7 seconds. Maze right on the back of Sean running through the S section as well. Honey Badger, though, right on the back of Vikmil. It's not a case of when, but it's a case of... no, it's not a case of if, it's a case of when Honey Badger is going to get the move done here. I think he got my words mixed up there, but Honey Badger right on the back of Vikmil and nearly outbreaking himself into the back of him. Maintains the control of the car nicely, but they're going to be in a bit of a DRS train because Venom leads this pack of 3, with Vikmil and Honey Badger both having the DRS now open. They're trying to get a little bit closer to each other, but in terms, I think Honey Badger is just going to stay behind Vikmil here. Oh, and locks up.
Double front lock up from Honey Badger, I think. Braking a little bit late and nearly straight into the back of Vikmil, but Vikmil's got very good straight line speed by the looks of things, so it's going to be difficult to pass him if he stays within Venom's DRS.
2.1 seconds, gap just beginning to inch down slightly between Spike and Venom. We're nearly through the halfway stage here in the sprint race. Of course, if you are enjoying the commentary and enjoying the stream out on track, do like, comment and subscribe, and of course tick that notification bell if you want to. We're not forcing you to, if you want to, and if you want to stay tuned in for more TTTV action, then you can do so. But Spike leads the way on to lap 5. Venom in 2nd, 2.2 seconds off. Vikmil 3rd, Honey Badger in 4th, and they're not really closing, and Spike again setting the fastest lap of the race. Is that just with him having clear air purely out on track, or is that just a case of his pace out on track as well?
It does look like a case of his pace, because Venom has clear air as well when he's not really defending from Vikmil, because Vikmil's not quite fast enough to attack him. Spike just looks the faster of the top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, that's the fastest lap times actually up on the screen. Spike with a 48.8, Venom with a 48.9, Vic with a 49 flat, and Honey Badger with a 49.2. Those are the best lap times that the guys have set. Siege as well with a 49.4. So I think the fastest lap times really speak for themselves, as Spike looking like the quickest driver out on track currently. Honey Badger beginning to get onto the back. And as soon as I said that, by the way, the gap has, or did, come down to 1.7 seconds. So Venom was clearly quick in that middle sector.
Venom actually, what happened there for Venom is he did the same thing he did last lap. He actually outbroke himself into the hairpin. And one of the delta change points is just in the middle of that braking zone. So he gains a lot of time and then loses it on the exit because this one's so wide. So he did that the lap before as well. That's why he's getting that. Why it looks like he's gained so much time. So another little mistake from Venom that's actually costing him a little bit of time to Spike.
Yeah, and Honey Badger's just beginning to get onto the back of Vic Mill as well. But yeah, Venom, that gap has just stayed consistent. It's now 2 seconds the gap. And Venom may be, I'm not going to tempt fate here, I think he might be starting to get that just that little bit closer. As we talked about earlier on the sprint race, the leader normally pulls away, then the pack begins to close. It's like, essentially, the peloton trying to catch the breakaway out on track, and that, I think, proves it all, because Venom has set the new fastest lap of the race, 48.734.
Yeah, he's picked up a little bit more pace in the final sector. He just needs to not make too many mistakes, and he could be close to Spike with a few laps to go. He's been dropped now, though. He's 4 seconds back. Marquez, just like Japan, he shows promising pace in qualifying and in the feature race, despite finishing second, and then it kind of just disappears as Vic picks up his time penalty.
Yep, that was through turn 6, I do believe, out on track, the right-hander through...
Look at this first sector from Venom. Half a second up on Spike.
If he can get the hairpin right, he's going to be right on the back of Spike in a couple of laps.
Yeah, and he manages to make the apex this time.
Getting closer.
Yeah, he's definitely getting closer. Half a second up.
Tell you what,
Vic Mill from his DRS now. Here comes Honey Badger.
Yeah, Honey Badger right on the back of Vic Mill running down the straight. BW2 Arden against our Grand Prix, and you can pretty much see where this one's going to go because Honey Badger is onto the inside line. Vic Mill will try and defend this, but I think Honey Badger's got the right away of the corner. Just got caught on the curb slightly, but managed to get the move done anyway. So Honey Badger up to third. Good move.
Yeah, good move from Honey Badger, and it's just a case of no one's really defending any positions so far. It's been a lot of easy overtakes for a lot of people, but definitely Honey Badger the faster of the people at the moment, and Vic Mill with that time penalty. You might want to just keep the over 3 second gap to Siege behind, and it looks like another 4th place finish at the moment for Vic Mill.
Honey Badger, quite interestingly, I think, is now beginning to pull away from Vic Mill. Venom taking a way wide out line there through the final 2 corners, but Honey Badger beginning to close in on Venom, and he's beginning to gap Vic Mill as well. This is important for Honey Badger because obviously he takes the championship lead and takes the fastest lap as well, 48.708. That's what, about 2.25 hundredths ahead, if that makes sense, on fastest lap.
Yeah, well, basically less than a tenth, as it's pretty much been with every lap time in every single race so far that we've had. So it's really, really close times, but yeah, Honey Badger the faster of the top 3 now that he's passed Vic Mill, but can Venom get within DRS range of Spike before the final laps?
1.5 seconds the gap. The gap's just stabilised, I think. With that fastest lap that Venom set 2 laps ago, he's now beginning... I'm not saying he's losing time, but that gap has just completely stabilised, and in fact the top 4 I think have now completely stabilised. Siege has got a little bit closer to Vic Mill, 3.2 seconds. That gap was nearly out of 4 at one stage, and Maze is trying to find some to the back of Sean. It's just gone a little bit quiet. Normally the sprint race is quite action-packed and full-on with overtaking, but we've had, well, some good overtakes, but hardly anything in terms of the feature race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a case really of the track. The problem with racing around Austin is that there's so many different parts of the track that people are much better at. So the likes of, it looks like at the moment, the likes of Venom and Honey Badger are incredibly good in the first sector, and that gives them enough a gap that no one can really pass them down the straight, despite people being fast in the middle and the third parts of the lap. So it's it's kind of spacing everyone out. And as I say that, just to prove my point, Spike is starting to pull away again. It's back up to 2 seconds.
Yeah, Venom, I think, had another slight look up there into the final corner, just runs him wide, and Spike, fastest lap of the race by a clear 10.5. Goodness me, what a lap.
Yeah, really good lap from Spike. He's putting the hammer down, and maybe he just took a few laps breather just to try and cool the tyres down and get back into a good rhythm, and he's now starting to pull away again. And Honey Badger, whoa, a massive side from Honey Badger coming out of the first corner.
Right on the back.
Back of him.
Sun getting out.
Make a move. Yeah, he's not going to be able to make a move through this sector.
Oh, the BWT Arden right on the back of the Arc 1 pre-car, running through the S section, similar to Maggots and Beckett's, of course, a Herman Tilke designed track. First race held in 2012, and my God, the sprint race is looking good out on track. Vickmill right on the back of Honey Badger, but Spike, after setting that fastest lap, Venom beginning to catch back up, 1.3 going into the hairpin.
Again, yeah, it's a case of everyone's setting a fast lap and then they're just not able to keep the pace up. It's almost like they have to back off the next lap because their tyres are overheating. I wonder if it's just a nature of this track that the tyres overheating are causing people not to keep a consistent pace. But not going to have a move on Honey Badger?
No, nowhere near.
Close enough. No, not close enough. That would have been a bold move, to say the least, if you went for that. But Spike looks incredibly fast in the straight line because the back is back up to 1.9 seconds again. It's just yo-yoing back and forth between the two of them.
Yeah, the gap has just completely stabilised on average, I think, between these guys. And with 3 laps to go, I think the only battle out on track is between Honey Badger and Vickmill, of course. Vickmill did pick up that 3-second time penalty earlier on as well, as Spike nearly kills me over the running over the camera of the curb. Goodness me. Hope he doesn't do that in real life to me. Thank you very much, Spike, but 1.7 seconds out in front. Venom in second, 1.8 seconds behind now. Honey Badger third, Vickmill in fourth. Vickmill, I think he's got to put his life on the line out on track. He's got to try and be bolder than Honey Badger, but also use that pace to get him back into it. I think Vickmill just has got to try and take a little bit more risk out on track to try and get Honey Badger.
That is the case, definitely, but if he loses any more time, he drops behind siege at the moment because of that 3-second penalty, so it's a real case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And the problem for Vickmill now is that with 1 round to go after this one, I believe, it looks pretty much over for Vickmill, standings-wise.
Sean, 3-second time penalty. I think both Sean and Mays are now even on 3-second time penalties there as well. But halfway through lap 9, Spike leads the way, 1.7 seconds, the gap beginning to increase again. It's almost as if there's one on, one off lap, as I'm going to call this. You have one on where the pace is really quick, and then you've got to try and deheat those tyres essentially to try and get them towards the end of the race. Vickmill getting close to the back of Honey Badger, but again, big lock up into turn 12 there from Honey Badger, puts Vickmill into a position for potential overtake, but not going to get the move done. Vickmill, again though, I think he's got to be a lot bolder out on track. He can see Honey Badger locking up out on track. He's got to be very, very bold, I think, on the final 2 laps to try and get a move done. He's got to be, he's got to be aggressive, but he's got to keep it within the limits. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a really fine line to walk, especially if you don't think you have the confidence to go for the move. I just don't think Vickmill's quite fast enough to really get close enough to Honey Badger and make the move unless Honey Badger makes a mistake. As I say, that Vickmill makes his own mistake, so
that's it, I think.
I think it's a case of it's just Vickmill and Honey Badger are relatively similar pace at the moment. Vickmill just doesn't have the edge over him at the moment, so he's not really able to get close enough to make the move. Venom is very fast in the first sector, and he's proved that pretty much every lap, and then it just disappears in the middle part of the lap. So that setup on Venom's car is definitely tailored to the first part of the lap.
Do you think it's the hairpin though? That's the wrongdoing of him. Through 10-11.
It looks like the hairpin, and he isn't very confident on traction, I've noticed. So he's losing a lot of time coming out of the corner, which is then obviously affecting him all the way down the straight. So
it's
definitely a case of Venom. Yeah, definitely it's a case of Venom is far more confident in the twisty sections of the track.
So much better than what I've seen him do this race. It's now 1.3 seconds. The gap. Venom beginning to reel in Spike slowly but surely. Again, I think he's got to put his life on the line here out on track. Spike has got to make a considerable mistake out on track. A little bit of a lock up there from Venom. What I think Venom has got to do, I'm seeing it, I think, out on track with him. He's 3/10 up, by the way, on his personal best, so this could be a new fastest lap from Venom. He's really hooking this one together, and with the cloud cover now beginning to come over the track, these tyres obviously going to be operating at a colder temperature. The mediums, though, will not mind this whatever out on track. Spike still leading the way, hanging off the camber of the corner. Venom just taking a much deeper line through the triple right-hander. Now getting the exit through turn 19, runs wide, but the gap is beginning to come down. And watch out, because I think this is going to be a fastest lap of the race. He locked up into the final corner.
Yeah, a little mistake into the last
there you
one,
go.
but it is, that must be about 3,000ths of a second that he took that fastest lap. That's incredibly close.
You are right, it is 3,000 dead on.
Yeah, 3,000ths of a second dead on that Venom beat Spike's fastest lap, which is just shows how close these guys are in pace. It's so difficult for anyone to really gain so much time on anyone in front and gain anything, but we're already on the last lap. Where has this race gone?
Where has this race gone? Goodness me. It's almost as if 2 minutes ago we started actually out on track. But Spike leading the way. Venom again, fastest through the first sector. Can he keep this up though for the rest of the lap? He's not going to be close enough to the back of Spike. But 1.1 seconds is the gap. Honey Badger 3-second time penalty. So that now maybe puts Siege into play for potential third position. I don't think it will be though, because he's well behind.
Yeah, it is a real shame. I just don't think. I think everyone gapped enough in the first part of the race when everyone was battling to get through the field that no one's really been able to close back in again. So, you know, at the moment that's safe from Siege for P4 with that penalty, but yeah, I think this race is not Vic Mill out of the championship running. Yeah,
I think Vic Mill and maybe Venom might be out of it.
Say that, Honey Badger. Christ almighty, nearly gives me a heart attack. Wow. Massive moment, how he saved that.
Goodness me. Spike, though, coming around the final couple of corners now through the triple right-hander for the final time. And he, once again, is going to take a victory. It was the feature race last time out in Japan, but it's this time, it's the sprint race. Spike around the final corner. His lead championship charge continues. The yellow flag in Sector 3 is for Maze, but Spike takes the win from Venom in second. I think they'll finish off first and second. Honey Badger third. Vic Mill in fourth. They says they are, but Siege should get fourth, and he gets it by about a 1/10.5 of a second out on track. Sean, a bit of a no man's land race, I think, for him out on track. The Campos man across the line in sixth, and Maze, left side end plate damage, I think, to that Dam's car, and he's going to be in 7th position. But in that race, I do believe Dams have outscored Arc 3 by a couple of points.
Possibly, yeah. I'm not quite sure the point system for the sprint race, because obviously it's completely different, but yeah, a relatively, I think probably the tamest race I've commentated on so far. That's I wouldn't say boring. Pretty tame from these drivers. Not really much happening in the sprint race for once. That's something rare to say, but yeah.
I'm glad we just managed to find things to talk about, to be honest, in that sprint race. Goodness me. But
yeah, Christ, it was a real train of everyone kind of lapping at the same pace.
Yeah, the Brit taking it though out on track. It is Spike who takes the win, and for his championship charge actually out on track, and obviously getting the sprint race win, that could fill him a lot of confidence for next season.
Absolutely, Spike has looked incredibly fast ever since I started commentating. It's a shame that he wasn't in the championship earlier on, because he would have been a real title threat. Has he won an event? Has he won a race at every event so far since he's joined?
I have a look. Spike has won feature race in Spain, sprint race in Germany, feature race in Japan, and now the sprint race in USA.
Yeah, so he's had a number of wins already, despite not joining the championship at the start of the season. So.
Oh, well, I was going to run through the final order, but it's gone. Goodness me, it's like that episode of South Park where you go to the bank and your money's gone. But anyways, Spike taking it out on track, and well, tonight let's just reflect on what happened. Of course, the feature race being probably the highlight of the race. Overall for you though, who was your driver of the day?
Oh, I think Oh, it's a hard one to choose, really. I think driver of the day for me. Oof, God, they're all so incredibly equal across the thing, but I think driver of the day for me is going to go to Honey Badger, just because he's able to, even when the races aren't going his way, he's able to find pace and extend that championship lead. So good race from him. Spike, I think, a close second with a pretty dominant display, I would say, in the sprint race.
Sorry, I'm just typing a message out on track. Out in Discord even. Obviously, we are going to Abu Dhabi next week. The title race, I think, couldn't be any closer. Honey Badger, I think, is now going to lead the championship coming into Abu Dhabi. What on earth do you think is going to happen?
It's going to be a real battle. Siege, another weekend really where Siege just hasn't been on the same level as his championship rival, but it was Abu Dhabi, correct, is the next race. That is a race of that's going to be an absolutely crazy race. Lap ones around Abu Dhabi in Formula 2 cars are going to be very important. So it's going to be interesting to see who can pull that off and who can win next time out, and whether anyone bar Siege and Honey Badger gets involved in the title championship and ends up influencing it. If Spike gets another win, that could influence the championship massively. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic to see what is going to happen next week in Abu Dhabi. And, of course, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, next Tuesday is also St. Patrick's Day as well.
Oh, blimey, is it St. Patrick's Day already?
Yeah, next Tuesday, I think, is going to be St. Patrick's Day. 17th of March.
Where has 2020 gone?
I honestly don't know.
Christ almighty, it's bloody Formula 1 this weekend.
And Formula and Formula 1 this weekend. Back. I'm going to wake up in the early hours of the morning for Australia. Brilliant.
Yeah,
and for the first race of the season
as well. I might lie and say I have a day off sick work so that I can have a lie. I can get back into bed.
That is terrible.
Very early.
That is terrible. Morning. If your boss is now watching this stream, you are in for deep trouble, mister.
Never in a million years.
But anyways, we're going to wrap up the stream here. Fantastic racing night on track. Of course, if you do want to be more involved with what is happening with our streams, with what is happening on the Twitter, do go and follow the league at TTL_F2. There's nothing like a bit of self-promotion as well, so I'm going to go ahead with it anyways. Yeah. At B52Head is my Twitter hashtag. And what is your Twitter name? Because I forgot off the top of my head.
My Twitter name is at Aidan Carter 5, AIDAN for people that want to know how to spell my name. And quick announcement as well, I am actually now an official TTG commentator.
Woo!
Just thought I'd throw that out there because self-promotion, definitely. So I am now, just like James, an official TTG commentator. That was announced last week. So yeah, I'm now part of the whole team. So there we go.
It's fantastic. Make them feel welcome, of course, within the chat and on the Discord and everything like that. And the next section that you're going to be seeing from us, however, will be TTL F1 on Thursday. What an absolute treat we are going to have for that. And I do believe, I'm under the impression anyways, that it is the final race of... No, actually, it is not the final race of the season because we're going to Circuit of the Americas, I do believe, the TTL F1. And I cannot wait to be bringing you the action there Thursday on the stream. Kieran McGinley and myself will be taking you through that one. Friday will be the resumption of the TTL F1 League 2 Challenge Cup. Myself and Paco Suarez, who was a great commentator and a great addition on Friday nights last time, he's going to be joining me once again for the final 2 rounds of the championship. And if I'm not mistaken, we are going to be going to... I need to find the calendar for this. Give me a second. I keep forgetting things off the top of my head. That's what it is. That's why the stream's going on a little bit after. But, right. I'm going to quickly check the comments. Check the Discord for it. Give me a second. Right. Do you want to fill in for anything while I try and dig myself out of this hole?
Shall I give everyone my best singing voice?
I don't think so. No. Mexico and Abu Dhabi.
There we go.
Mexico and Abu Dhabi on Friday, and of course Saturday will be CRC GT3 Tiers 2 and 1, Tier 2 from 7:30 and 8:30 for Tier 1. Alan Cavi and myself will be taking you through both streams. I will be on the Tier 1 stream if you are very interested in that. Next week, of course, is the Mini League starting up next Wednesday, and, well, we're both going to be commentating on that as well.
Yes, I'll be commentating Wednesday at 9:15 next week, so you can catch me at that time. James, it seems like is commentating at every other time under the planet, so definitely good luck to you, James, next week. That's going to be a long one, but I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely something different for me, so yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking you guys through League 2, and I do believe I'm going to be joined by a special guest, which is Z3xer from the TNR Esports team. He will be joining me in the commentary box for that one. Only a week to go until that, but if you want to tune in for more action, of course, TTL F1 on Thursday night. We're going to end off the stream now because we've rambled on, or I've rambled on a little bit too much, as I normally do. Thank you very much for watching. I've been James Head, he's been Aidan Carter. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next week for the season finale of TTL F2.